Hello and welcome to round 12 of NEAFL TV. I had no voice, I was off sick last week, but we're here this week to bring you a fantastic edition. Let's go to our first game as Eastlake travel to take on Sydney Hills Eagles. Sydney Hills Eagles headed into this game as slight favourites on their home turf, but with a sodden middle of Bruce Purser reserve, the start of this game was very scrappy. The ball pinballed between contests and there wasn't a lot of clean possession, and when either side did go forward, scoring was difficult. Sydney Hills Eagles had the better of the quarter, registering 6 scoring shots to Eastlake's 4, but there was just 1 goal apiece kicked, and at quarter time, Sydney Hills Eagles led by just 2 points. The match opened up a little bit after quarter time and Michael Sankey's men began to work their way on top. Former Adelaide Crow Luke Jericho, coming off 8 goals last week, was a late withdrawal for the Eagles, so the home side had to look for other avenues to goal. The likes of McConnell, Browning, Stubbs and Reid got amongst the goals as the Eagles had 11 individual goal kickers. Eastlake fought on gallantly as the match progressed, led by 4 goals from big man Ash Pocock, but his effort wasn't enough. 6 goals to 3 to the Eagles in the third quarter broke the game wide open, and although Eastlake continued to fight on in the last term, it wasn't enough. They eventually went down 12-13, 85 to 7-13, 55. Now we head up to the Gold Coast where Southport took on Queanbeyan. This was a matchup between a side with premiership aspirations and a team entrenched in the bottom half of the ladder, and it showed. The Sharks, bidding to stay in touch with the top 6, started brilliantly, piling on 5 unanswered goals and taking a 33-point lead into the first change. For the visitors, the only good thing about coming to warm Queensland was escaping the bitterly cold Canberra weather. They kicked just 1 goal in the entire first half to Southport's 11 and trailed 72-9 at half-time. Led by a season-best 6 goals from Jake Goldsmith and Josh Baxter, who continued his brilliant form with another 5, the Sharks piled on the pain. Eddie Mallon had his best game for the year, collecting 26 disposals and kicking 3 goals. Southport were just too good. Jason Burge was brilliant through the midfield, and the Sharks won 148-37. Staying in Queensland at Giffen Park, this is the clash between the Lions and Giants. This match boded as one of the best of the round, with a raft of stars playing on either side, and it was last year's #1 draft pick Tom Boyd who got the opening goal for the Giants. After Boyd's opener, the Lions dominated the middle period of the first quarter as Sam Michael kicked 2 goals and John O'Freeman got on the board as well. After another behind to John O'Rourke to start the second term, the Giants finally got their first goal since Boyd's opener. Scores were tied at that point, but the Lions kicked their next 2 to skip out to an 11-point lead. But goals late in the first half to Zach Williams and Tom Boyd again saw the Giants close to within 4 points at the main break. They say the third quarter's often decisive in games, and it was the Lions who made their move first, kicking the opening 2 majors of the term. But as they had all day, the Giants responded. Youngster Cam McCarthy and big man Andrew Phillips got 2 goals within 3 minutes, and the Giants were back to within a straight kick. After the sides traded behinds, Jack Crisp stopped the rot right on the stroke of 3/4 time, giving his side a 3-point lead at the last change. A grandstand finish was in the offing as the teams traded goals to begin the final quarter. Andrew Rains got 1 for the Lions before Liam Sumner kicked 2 consecutive goals to vault the Giants to the lead. When Matt Buntine and then Dylan Addison goaled in quick succession in the late stages of the 4th term, UWS had this game in the bag, eventually running out 22-point winners. Now out to Blacktown in Western Sydney, and it's the Swans against Sydney University. The all-conquering Swans sit top of the table without a loss since round 2, but with a slightly depleted lineup, Sydney University were well and truly in this contest. The students had the better of the first term and took a 4-point lead into quarter time. The match, which followed the New South Wales ACT Rams game against Calder Cannons, was a little bit of a scrap at times. Minus the likes of Tom Mitchell, Brandon Jack and Gary Rowan, the Swans couldn't stamp their authority on this contest. With many top-up players who hadn't played together before, as a team the Swans weren't dominant, but as an individual, Toby Nankervis was on fire. Nankervis was ably supported up forward by young forward Tim Membry, who continued his stellar goal-kicking season, kicking another 3 goals. With youngster Tim Barrett's 3 goals, the students' best return in front of the Big Six, it was ultimately Nankervis and Membry who got the job done for the Swans. Their 8 goals combined was enough for Sydney to stretch its winning streak to 8. The Swans running out 9-13, 67 to 7-5, 47 winners. Next up we go to Kippax Oval in Canberra and it's Ainslie against Belconnen. After struggling for the first couple of months of this NEAFL season, Belconnen has been a vastly improved side in the last few weeks and it showed against Ainslie. The Magpies well and truly matched it with the team considered the best out of Canberra this year. Scores were locked at 21 apiece at the first change and the tight battle continued after quarter time. Jordan Harper kicked a good goal for Belconnen before teammate Brenton Joyce stepped up with a 6-pointer of his own. A goal to Ainslie's NEAFL representative star Sean Ellis got his side back in the game late in that second half, but it was still Belconnen who took a 5-point lead into the main break. After such a tight contest in the opening half, Ainslie finally showed their class in the third quarter, kicking 4 goals to 1. Conspicuously quiet up until half-time, star Ainslie recruit Nick Salter sprung to life after the main break, kicking 3 goals in a decisive third quarter. When Salter kicked another goal to begin the fourth quarter, his side skipped out to their biggest lead of the game. Despite the best efforts of Belconnen, who were gallant all afternoon, Lucas O'Neill got another one for Ainslie, Sean Campbell kicked his first and the Tricolours were ahead by more than 5 goals and this game was beyond doubt. Now right up the top to the Northern Territory, it's the Thunder hosting the Suns. NT Thunder topped the table just 3 weeks ago, but after consecutive losses away from home, they need to get their season back on track. Back in the familiar surroundings of their fortress at TIO Stadium, the home side started the better. After taking a 13-point lead into the first change, Xavier Clark's men were even better after quarter time. A little bit quiet in patches to begin the year, twin spearheads Chris Dunn and Darren Ewing returned to the form that they've been renowned for, piling on the goals. With captain Cam Eilert winning plenty of the football and Shannon Rioli and Liam Patrick brilliant, the Thunder skipped out to a convincing lead. Gold Coast are winless in 2014 and with Dunn and Ewing in such irrepressible form, that never looked likely to change. The Thunder shored up third position with a 6 goals to 1 final quarter. Dunn finished with 7, Ewing kicked 6, and NT won 21-16, 142 to 99-63. Our last game of the round is a cracker in Queensland. It's Aspley and Redland. On paper, this looks set to be an absorbing contest, and that was exactly the way it proves, though a gusty breeze made open play a little bit difficult.
Scott gives it off there to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer shoots it long.
In Reece Toy's 100th game for the Hornets, his side took a narrow 1-point lead into the first break. The breeze kept up and so did the very tight contest. Both sides kicked 3 goals and 2 behinds in the second quarter and the margin stayed exactly the same. There was just 1 point in it at the main break.
Beautiful kick and that'll do it for Aspley.
Something had to give at some stage in this contest and in the third quarter it was the home side that staked their claim. Uncharacteristically for him, considering his form this year, Eddie Sansbury was goalless until late in that third quarter, but he chose a very good time to kick 2 majors in quick succession. Aspley had stretched that 1-point half-time lead into a 32-point three-quarter-time margin, but the gap was still small enough if Redland were good enough. In the last quarter, the Bombers showed why they've been one of the form teams of the competition in the last month, led by spearhead Cleve Hughes, who finished with 6 majors.
Makes no mistake, does Cleve Hughes.
But despite Hughes and his team's best efforts, they won that last quarter convincingly. They finished on the wrong side of the ledger, losing 15-11, 101 to 13-7, 85. To the ladder, and this is where everybody will stay with the week off next week. So it's the Swans up top, followed by the Giants, Thunder, Hornets, Redland and Ainslie to round out the top 6. Outside of that, Southport, Sydney University, Sydney Hills Eagles, Lions, Queanbeyan, Belconnen, Eastlake and the Gold Coast Suns. A break from regular fixtures next week. All the teams are not in action. It's just the NEAFL representative side travelling south to take on Tasmania. That game will be live streamed through the NEAFL website on Saturday. That's it for round 12 of NEAFL TV. Don't forget, big representative game coming up this week, so check the website, check the app. That game is live streamed on Saturday. I'm Sam Canavan. See you next time.